Hello and welcome back to Mindset Talks podcast.
Hey.
How are you doing on this crappy Saturday?
I was not expecting you to say it like that, but that's literally today's weather. So, um, I'm tired. I got home from work late.
Uh-oh.
I would say last night, but it was technically this morning because it was after the midnight hour.
Yikes.
I know. Part of it was my time management because I probably should have left a half an hour earlier, but I didn't.
Well, shame on you.
Shame for being a devoted worker. I know. And I was up by 6 o'clock this morning. So
So you got plenty of sleep, I see.
yeah, I mean, I did take a little morning nap like an infant. So by 8:30, I was down for a nap. But I'm doing pretty okay. I hope that I remain productive in this day because I have a lot of things on my list of things to do that I would love to get done. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm feeling a little in over my head, I guess.
Aren't we all? Isn't that just the way that life is sometimes? Because I hear you with that one. I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of like afternoon now, but like I've been doing stuff like all day. I've done like 5 loads of laundry,
Ooh.
folded everything, cleaned up a
Oh.
little bit, did dishes, that kind of stuff since like, I don't know, 7 o'clock this morning. And I was like, we have to get in podcast because we need to get our new episode for Tuesday. So we got to fit
Right.
that into the little schedule. We got to make sure we stay
Yes.
consistent because that's important.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so many things to do. Still not done with my to do list for today, but I would say that I feel pretty accomplished so far. So that's important.
Girl, if I had one load of laundry washed, dried, and put away, that's a huge accomplishment. So kudos to you for even having it just all whatever you got going on there. Because
I was gonna say it's not all put away yet, but we'll get there.
listen, 5 loads, that's plenty.
Oh yeah, considering I haven't done it in like 2 weeks, and I wanted to wash the sheets and
Right.
just one thing
Everything.
after another. Yeah,
Yep. No, I feel you on that one.
but
Ciao.
people didn't come on here to hear us talk about doing laundry and stuff, and they're probably
I
like,
guess not.
"Get with it."
I guess not. Just we're just relating in another fashion. That's all.
Yes, life goes on, people.
It does. So in today's episode, I thought it'd be pretty interesting if we do a little Q&A style. And you know me, I always have probing questions.
Of course you do.
So my mind always wants to know what's on your mind, and just to, I guess, share what's on my mind, even though I wouldn't say that these questions we have here I have an answer to already. But it's good combo, good stuff to talk about. And it kind of, once again, goes in line with reflection, which the older I get, the more I enjoy reflection. I don't know
Mhm.
why. It's a little thing that is just my thing, I guess. So,
I mean, I think it's a very important thing to do is kind of like reflect on the past and learn from things or.
right. Yeah. It's just, and you don't see things the same as when you're in the moment and after the moment, too.
Exactly.
So, it's just kind of nice for another, I guess, perspective.
Yeah. And this is kind of a little bit impromptu. I mean, yes, I have seen the questions, but I
Hmm.
haven't thought about them at all whatsoever. So this will be interesting.
Yeah. All right. You ready? No.
I mean, as ready as I'll ever be.
All right. So, um, if you had a last opportunity to have, another conversation with your dad,
Hmm.
what is something, and it could be more than one thing if you like, because, it's a one last conversation. So you might try to soak up all the time you can get. But what is something that you would ask him?
So this question, I actually do have like an off the bat answer because there's something that I thought about afterwards, and it's more of like a silly question than it is like some kind of like life lesson-y type of
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
But I forget what I was doing, or I was like talking to somebody or something, and I was like, damn, I was like, I really wish that like I had asked my dad this question because I really have no idea what the answer is. And I asked like one of his best friends before too, and they're like, I really have no idea.
Oh,
So, what I would really like to know if I was able to ask him is what does he like better? Would it be bowling or would it be golfing?
oh wow, that's a good question because he loved both.
He loved both equally and he was so involved in each one of them, but I really don't know which one he liked better.
Oh wow.
Like I can tell you he liked it more than like he used to do horseshoes
Mhm,
and he used to do I want to say like baseball or softball or whatever.
mhm.
But golf and bowling were kind of like always the things that like he did religiously, like every season, and he would be like captain and like all these kinds of things and whatever. But
Mhm.
I honestly have no idea which one that he likes better. And I'm sure
Oh,
there's got to be, a favorite, but
right.
I don't know.
Damn.
So, Dad, if you're out there, give me a sign because
Right. You want to trip over a
we want
bowling
to
ball
know.
pin one day.
Right? I'm like,
Where
maybe
this
this
come
is what
from?
it is.
Where did this come from? That's random. That's true. That's a good question.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think that you would ask your mom?
Um, you know, I don't have an off bat question answer. I mean, so I guess something I'd ask her is like I guess if I'm talking to her, like if I'm able to talk to her like in her afterlife, I guess you would say,
Mm,
the question I would ask her is what is something she would have changed about her life?
mm,
Like something that she wished that she would have done differently.
mhm.
Because I know there, like I always say, I know there's a lot that she had wanted to do,
Yeah.
but like, and I think that's like something probably people who are alive ask themselves, like,
Mm,
man, what would I've had done different in my life? So I just always wonder, like, because she always was someone who enjoyed life and was just always happy. But I just would always want to know, like, what is the one thing that she would change in her life? And, you know, after that, I would think about how different of a person she probably would be from that one thing, depending on what it is.
yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. I would like to know that too.
Yeah. So it's just, like, because she went to college and she played sports, but her main job was a welder, and I know she enjoyed that, but
Mm,
wish she had gone to school longer and got within a career from that, or she was on a travel bowling league. Wish she had kept up with that. So just
yeah. Or maybe
that,
nothing.
right, or nothing. Exactly, that's always an option too.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
very true.
a good one.
Thank you. So we have something you'd ask. What about something you would want to tell him?
Hmm. So that's a tough one. Um, what would I want to tell him? I feel like me and my dad had a lot of good, like, open communication.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure that I probably told him this, like, at some point, but I guess maybe just really, like, reassuring to him of, like, like, strong I think that he is.
Mhm.
Like, looking back at everything and me and my mom talk about it frequently too, just, like, all these, like, surgeries and all the pain and just everything that he went through, like and I'm sure I don't even know if he would know it, honestly, because I'm sure you just feel so weak in that moment and just, so defeated. But
Yeah.
I guess I would just want him to know, like, how strong he really is and, like, how much I respect that about him because I think about that for, certain other things, like, go on in life and stuff, and I'm like, "Well, damn, like, he went through, like, all of this shit, and here I am, like, getting
Mhm.
upset or, whatever about something that's, like, so small compared to everything that he went through, and it's like, if my dad can go through that, then,
Mhm.
like, I know that I can get through this.
Right.
So I
Role
would
model.
yeah, so I would think maybe just something along those lines to maybe, like, encourage him, if that would have even been encouraging, I don't know, just to really, like, let him know how strong he really was. Because if you just knew, like, what he went through, like,
Right, that was a lot.
yeah, I can't even imagine.
Right, because it's a lot hearing about it, but as we all know, experiencing it is totally different.
Yeah, I don't think I could have done it at all.
Wow,
So,
goodness. I would say for myself, um, I would have told my mom that I appreciated her more. And I say that because just thinking about back to like all of what she sacrificed working two jobs to take care of me. Even like when I got Chewy, there were a lot of times where she took care of the dog for me.
mm,
Um, even the benefits that she's worked for at work so I could have after she passed,
mm,
just little things like to just even like never have her really give me a hard time, and she trusted me. And like for a parent, like she was a pretty dope parent.
mhm,
And I think that I really would just tell her like truly like how much I genuinely appreciated her. But it's one of those, you don't appreciate people till they're gone, or those types of things. But
right.
I appreciated it while she was alive and before she even got sick. But it's the fact of communicating that,
Mhm.
and communicating it more than once. So it's just like,
Yeah,
in a Mother's Day card or like on a birthday, but it's just out the blue to just randomly just give more thank yous. Um I don't think she felt unappreciated, but just for how I feel now after the fact, like I wish I could have just like thanked her more and just told her how much I really appreciate all that she's done, even the things that I haven't seen, you know?
mm, yeah,
Because thinking about at her funeral service, there were so many people that she worked with, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, your mom loved you so much." She talked about you all the time and the dog, and I'm like, "Damn, if they know the dog, like she was really like telling it all."
yeah,
So it's just like I knew she was like proud, but it's just even if someone knows, you just want to be able to give that to them and not have it be expected, or like
right.
obligated to say.
Yeah. No, I think that that one is huge. We get so caught up in day-to-day life and,
Mhm.
just, like, assuming that, like, the other person knows how we feel about them and stuff, but it is nice to really, like, stop and take a step back sometimes and communicate that. And like you said, not just once, because people
Mhm.
need that reassurance, and it's a nice thing to hear. So,
Right.
I think in general, that's just something that we need to be cognizant of to do, more frequently for those that we love.
Yes.
So, I agree.
Yes, yes, yes. Do you want to jump into the next question, or you want me to keep getting you first?
Oh, no, let me spitfire you with this one.
Oh, okay.
So, Amanda, would there be something that you would apologize to your mom for?
I probably should have asked you after this question if you wanted to go first.
Nope, I'm glad that you let me turn the tables.
Oh, child, I should have reviewed the questions.
You wrote them.
I know, I know. Forgot what order they're in. Damn. Um, something, something I would apologize for. Um, Something I would apologize for.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
That is. Uh,
That
Gosh, I don't feel like I have anything. I'm over here just staring off like, oh, huh. I
yeah.
honestly don't feel like there's anything in particular that I can think of that I felt like I really needed to apologize for.
Mhm.
Um, Two things only come to mind for me, and one of them's kind of funny. Uh, so I'm gonna be blowing up my spot here with this one.
Uh-oh.
So as a kid, me and one of my close friends, I'm not gonna say who it is because I'm not gonna blow up that person's spot. But one of my friends was bold enough to take money from their mom,
Ooh, no.
and they gave it to me.
Mm,
and I was really excited, like, "Oh my gosh," like, and it was a $20 bill, like, I remember, and I, like, didn't know what to do, like, I didn't tell them, like, "No, don't give it to me," like,
You knew where
because
it came from.
it's like, obviously, they got it from their parents because
Oh.
it's $20, and we were I don't think we were in middle school yet, to
Oh,
be honest.
gotcha.
So, I just took the $20 and I was like, "Alright, cool," but then I was like, "How the hell am I gonna explain to my mom how I got $20?"
Yeah.
So, I remember at the time we were going between, New London and Montville because of my dad living in New London.
Mhm.
So, at this point, I'm now in New London, this friend is in Montville. So, now I'm in New London for the day, and I'm outside, so I had this 20 stashed on me the whole day, and so I just, like, like, when the kids are, like, outside and, like, looking around, making sure no one can see them, and
Mhm.
I, like, acted like I picked it up this 20 off of the ground, and I went running in the house. I'm like, "Mom, look what I found! Look what I found outside!" And she was, like, all excited, like, "Oh, yeah, you can get something from the ice cream truck, blah, blah, blah," because the ice cream truck would always go by and stuff.
Mhm.
So, I'm sorry I lied about that. Um
Oh, it's a good story. Such a kid thing to do.
Stuck on my conscience.
I can see that.
Needed to let that one go. Didn't even talk to my therapist about it, no.
Oh.
But other than that, I would apologize if I wasn't, because 'cause I'm not sure if I was or wasn't, but if I wasn't supportive enough for her during her, time of sickness
Mm,
and, even starting from when she got her mastectomy, not necessarily, like, when she's, like, on her deathbed, so to say.
yeah.
But, just I would apologize for if I would say I would apologize for not being more supportive or stronger for what she needed because I do recall, like, seeing a time where she started to kind of break down a little bit and, she was just kind of like feeling defeated,
Mm,
and I wouldn't say that I was just like, "Yeah, just be weak," I'm
right.
not gonna say that, but, um, I'm sure I could have done a better job at, like, keeping her uplifted and,
Mhm.
just keeping her spirits high, but at the same time, if someone knows, like, people know sometimes when when their time is really coming and,
Yeah.
so there's only so much that you can really affect with that, but
Mhm.
that I think is an area of where the second area of where I would apologize.
Gotcha. She just took that from, like, all, like, fun and, like, to something so deep. Jeez.
Well, we
Oh.
can't just talk all the way back into, well, we're not gonna talk about what year I was approximately lying about that $20 bill, but we're not gonna take it all the way back and not give you something kinda current.
Oh, goodness.
What about you, Miss Ann?
Oh god. Well, first what Miss Anne, what?
It's what my grandma always said. My grandma always calls somebody Miss Ann, so
Oh.
it's your turn.
I mean, so I figured after I gave you time to kinda, like, answer that, then, like, I
Yeah.
would have an answer, but
Uh-huh, uh-huh. No.
I mean, that's still, like, such a tough one because I don't well, first of all, you know how my memory is, and I
Mhm.
don't think I have any stories like that from the past to where I would have, like, lied or something.
If you did, she can't remember it anyway,
Right.
so
Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, kids and whatever, do kid things, but,
right.
um, I don't I mean, I guess maybe for me, I try not to put the blame on myself for, like, what happened,
Mhm.
but a part of me, I guess I don't even know where this just, like, came from, and I'm gonna try to, like, keep it together here when I say this, but,
Let's be real with our people now.
I guess part of me would kind of apologize for ever really introducing him to Boston.
Mm.
I
Ooh,
remember I was
right.
so adamant about getting him a second opinion, um, because I refused to accept that there was nothing else that anybody could do for him, and so I researched, like, the best throat cancer doctors, and
Mhm.
Boston was in like the top. I don't think they were like the number one, but they were in the top like five or whatever.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
um, he was hesitant at first, and he wanted to make sure that he went through the second surgery first before, thinking of anything and whatever. And after that surgery happened, I finally like convinced him to go. And I mean, it was good. I think that he had like a really good doctor. So it wasn't that like specifically that I would apologize for necessarily, but
Mhm.
I think having that connection with Boston is part of the reason why he started to decline. Because there was a point where, I mean, and they should have probably done this a while ago, but my dad was very like adamant. He didn't want to get another feeding tube put in.
Yeah.
Um, but there came a point where it was, like, absolutely necessary, and he probably should have already had it just, like, as a precaution. And so I remember my mom took him up to Boston to get that done. And that's the story that I'm pretty sure I shared before where he was, like,
Yeah.
he was awake when it was happening.
The very traumatic procedure.
Yeah. And I think that that was kind of like the start of
The
Uh,
decline.
yeah. And I know that, like, if I never introduced him to Boston, then, who knows what would have happened. So,
Mhm.
I guess that would probably be something that I would apologize for, is being so pushy about Boston.
And you had the nerve to talk about me getting deep. Wow.
Well, I don't even know
But,
where that came from. Maybe it's just something I've been pushing
you
pushing
know,
down or something, I don't know.
they say talking is therapeutic, so, we're the suppressing type. We've made that clear.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's just been pushed down and, until you really have to think about it is when it kind of comes to the light. So,
That is true because I purposely try to avoid thinking about any of that. So,
yep, I believe it. But that's a really big thing to apologize for because like you said, you don't really know either way how things would have gone with or without Boston.
yeah.
And, to kind of have that blame on yourself it's rough, but he hears you.
Yeah, I don't know if he would feel the same way, but I do have a tendency to go into, like, overdrive, and
Hmm.
I definitely was throughout, like, the course of his sickness, and I
Yeah.
don't know, I probably maybe should have took, like, a step back.
But it was all out of good intentions and that's what makes a difference.
Right.
All right, y'all. That was part one of our Q&A. Stay tuned next week for part two. Thanks for listening.